Welcome to Personal Mastery Training. I'm your host, Alvin Brown, former world-class athlete turned entrepreneur and consultant. Join us as we learn from guests who have conquered their inner battles and share their journeys to success. Get ready for inspirational masterclasses and thought-provoking strategy sessions to fuel your path to personal mastery. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another strategy episode. Let's call this one the pre-reality principle. How to manifest your goals using visualization and a strong belief. All right, so each time I share with you, I'm sharing parts of my clients, experiences with my clients, parts of my life. I really want to dissect the wisdoms. We call them, the average person calls them quotes, but quotes, the word quotes just seems to be so light that we just say them and don't even practice them. We're familiar with them, but we're not masters of them. So when I share with you, I'm sharing with you from my experiences, my clients' experiences, because here's the thing I know. Whatever I'm going through, whatever you're going through, you're not alone. Human experiences aren't that unique as we think they are. They seem like we're the only ones going through them. But when you really talk to someone, read a book, listen to someone, you go, oh my God, that's what I'm going through. Because we all go through it. We just don't express it like some people do. So anyways, here's the thing. As I'm going through my challenges, just like the rest of you, things that are out of my control, like for instance, my family's health, there's some stuff going on there that are deeply personal and challenging, business challenges, life challenges, health, all kinds of challenges going to come our way. Here's our inclination. We tend to move our focus away from everything else to hyper focus on the problem. And not in a way of solving it. No, most often, a lot of us, when it's deep and it's close and it's personal and it's challenging, deeply challenging, what happens is we tend to move our focus on the problem, making it bigger and becoming overwhelmed by it. And you see, here's the thing with human beings. When we're deep in our stuff, the brain, we don't have enough distance from our stuff in order to see the way out. A metaphor would be almost like being in the woods, deep in the middle of the woods, and you can't see nothing but the trees in front of you. No path out, nowhere out. It's thick. You can't see 2 feet in front of you. All you're seeing is this thick wooded area. And you become fooled by you forget that there is a way out. It becomes where you become myopic. It becomes where you think the trees are going to be there forever. We forget that we got in there somehow. There was an outside, but we got in. Same as our problems. See, this is why we humans can help somebody else. We're so brilliant when we're helping others. This is why I believe in coaching. See, I share this stuff with you because I spent 30 years listening to people, 30 years listening to enough variety of people, colors, races, genders, orientations, religious, you name it. I've listened to a ton of people, read a lot, dug deep. And this is why I'm so curious, because I have spent so much time listening to a host of different types of people and belief systems and all isms. And I realize it's just noise. We're all looking for some truth. We're all searching for the truth about ourselves. So what happens then when we're deep in our stuff, consumed by it, whether it be health, money, business, personal, we become myopic. We close out all other options and we just become deep in it, forgetting there's a way out. And like I said, most of us, we don't spend time on strategic thinking. No, when stress gets to us, it shuts off the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, and we dive deep into fight and flight. And that shuts off. All we're into is survival at that point. And when we move into survival, athletes know this. I always remind someone when, let's take boxing or any pugilistic sport where it's woman against woman, man against man, whatever it might be. When I do a stare down, what I want to see is in your soul. Are you present? Can I shake you off your position? Can I have an effect on you? Because if I can get you to be scared, any emotion, angry, scared, you name it, I now have control over you because the prefront, all your strategic plans goes in the toilet, and you're now myopic. The fear, the anger, whatever it is takes you over. No more thinking, no more strategies, no more thinking. So that's where I want you. I want to get to you. I want to, whatever words I have to say to rattle you to change your game. So life is like that. When we're going through it, the thing we're going through, we become myopic. No other solutions are there. We become down to one: fight, flight, or freeze. We have three options there. We fight it instead of surrendering and sometimes we have to surrender and let the lessons. During the pandemic, again, I say this often, the pandemic, I was fighting. Fighting what? The inevitable? Like, it's a pandemic. I was fighting it. But when I surrendered, I started having solutions. Things started to work out. Or some people go in a bunker and hide out. They go fight, they run from it, avoid it, or they freeze. They become so overwhelmed by the stress, they just completely freeze. No solutions to be had. So here's where I'm going with this. So you're deep in the problem, and this came to me because I realized as I was going through some business professional challenges, I became myopic on the problem. For a moment, I walked away from what I knew was the thing to do, which is to get a higher vantage point. Do not go in the weeds, in the woods. Get a higher vantage point that you can see your way out. No, I went deep in. And I was unable to visualize my way out. I was unable to find solutions. I was unable to reduce the stress. And this is stuff I know, quote unquote. But you see, I'm going to be real with you. I'm human, just like you. And I go through these moments when I have to remind myself, give myself a little checkup from the neck up, or have people around me, coaches, mentors, to give me that checkup. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a master of, this is why I call it personal mastery training. That's the key. We're always in training. Just like a doctor or a professional should be in practice. You're never going to get anything, not in life. There's no end to where we learn and continue to learn about mastery, unpacking, unwrapping. And we have to unpack and unwrap our life. Things we've been told about what you should be and culture and gender. And we've been told so many things that we live by these unwritten rules that we don't even know we're living by. That's one. And two, we also have to unpack human nature, which is to move to fight, flight, and fear, and run and closing down, shutting down to protect ourselves. So we have to somehow hack into those natural tendencies and find a solution. So I noticed then when I was going through this, I stopped looking for solutions. I was so consumed by this issue, this challenge, which I've been going through for a long time. It's switching my mindset. And so I became consumed. And that's when I said, oh my God, I got to share this with you. Because I got caught with only one option, thinking there's only one option. And that was to stare at my problem. And what happens when you stare at your problem? It gets bigger and bigger and then overwhelming. And then you notice that you don't do anything because you moved into freeze. You're like the squirrel in the middle of the road. Don't know which way to go. Stuck. And you're just going to get hit. So I had to elevate. I had to double down, go back on my visualizations, go back on my mentors and my coaches, and really listen, really journaling, all of it. I had to go back and I elevated and I started to, and I went back and listened to audios that I used to listen to. I'm into this new person on Neville Goddard. I'm into Napoleon Hill. I'm going back to the things that made me excited. They gave me the words I needed, the Jim Rohns and the. So I went back to all the fundamentals that made me feel elevated. And then once I elevated out of the woods, I had a higher vantage point. I started to see solutions. See, the brain is digital, meaning ones and zeros. It's binary, ones and zeros. Something I learned when I did electrical engineering for like a second. I after high school, I went into electrical engineering, followed my brother, only lasted a year or so. But I did pick that up, zeros, ones and zeros. The brain's binary. So if you're focused on, it is a little bit of both. For those who are real nerds on that, it's a bit of both, binary and analytical, where it can go, in waves and so on and so on. But here's the thing, where I'm getting with this binary piece. Binary means if I'm focused on the problem, it's very, very difficult to see a solution. You can't entertain two states at once. So if you're focused on what's wrong in your life, it's next to impossible to find out what's right, even though it may be standing right in front of you, acres of diamonds. So that's what I had to do. I had to go through this, and I started to really move away from this focus and started to get a higher vantage point. And now I'm starting to develop that faith and belief again. And I want to touch on faith for a quick second. Faith, the belief in something that hasn't even happened yet. See, faith is not the belief that you can manifest $10 or something you already know exists. Here's faith. Believing is something that hasn't even happened, doesn't even exist in this reality as yet. That's faith. And that's where you need to harden and get and develop tight. Because when you can get there to that level where you believe in something that's not even happened yet, that's the solution you want to have happen, but it hasn't even happened yet. No one's done it. Maybe it's never been done that you know of. Putting someone on the moon, whatever that is, your moonshot. That's where you got to get to. That's true faith and that's true belief. Not where you already know you can do it. We got to stretch. So, the pre-reality principle, believing in something that doesn't even exist yet, and staying out of the weeds, out of the woods, the deep woods that can get you stuck and caught. All right, I hope that helps somebody who's stuck. Go back to, here's the solution. Go back to fundamentals. Go back to the things that made you feel elevated. Whatever that is for you. Dance, journaling, meditation, yoga, working out, going for a run, hanging out with the right people, getting the right mindset, hiring your coach, executing on that course you want to do. Take action. Because if you move into a freeze, something's going to get you. I'm guaranteeing you. All right, I hope that helps. That's what I went through. I'm going to share it with you. And I hope one idea, as my mentor said, Dr. Tom Hill, I'll always honor him. One idea, well executed, will change your life, change your game forever. All right, I hope that's the one idea. All right, peace. Like, subscribe, and share it.